Nick, given these new record-breaking numbers, are there any more restrictions in the pipeline?
There's a lot of discussion of new restrictions, but it's unlikely that they're going to be applied nationally in a unified way anytime soon. The health ministers of the 16 regions gathered yesterday and spoke with the federal health minister because health is a regional jurisdiction. So that makes decision making all the more difficult. You have, regions like Bavaria, which are taking the lead, saying masks must be worn in school again. Another region, Hesse, for instance, saying that people working in care homes must be vaccinated, but there's no uniform policy, and the German constitution didn't create a country that allows central government to make rapid-fire decisions like the kind we need basically in a pandemic. Another situation complicating the decision-making process is the fact that we only have an interim government now. You'll recall, of course, there were federal elections in September. We have ongoing coalition negotiations to form the next government with 3 parties, which means that the current government isn't expected to make any radical policy changes and has already, in fact, been warned not to do so by a leading member of one of those new governing parties. So it's a situation where there's a sort of stasis or limbo and an inability to make decisions that really, really might be necessary as we move into the winter season, people move back inside, and the virus spreads all the more quickly.
So, Nick, as the country waits for that situation of stasis, limbo that you described, the other part of the equation, of course, is vaccination. Health officials have said that this time around it's the epidemic of the unvaccinated. But is there any reason to believe that people who haven't yet been vaccinated in Germany are going to do so?
Well, there's a talk of vaccine mandates, for instance, in the case of people who work in care homes for elderly people. There's also talk of rolling out booster shots. It has been decided that children from the age of 12 and up can be vaccinated. There is a small part of society that is against vaccination. The Querdenker, they even tried to storm Parliament unsuccessfully. But I think, if you look at the sociology of where people are resisting the most, it's interesting. It's in the former East Germany, where communism was, where people have, as is the case in Ukraine and Russia, a distrust of central authorities, a distrust of authority in general, and a belief that government is essentially lying to. So that's part of the equation here. People don't trust the government in some parts of the country, which were parts of the former East Germany. And then I think beyond that, there's a slow uptake because people just feel things, are kind of getting better, and there's nothing urgent anymore. But the situation, as we've been describing it, is rapidly changing, and it is getting urgent.
And we've certainly seen how quickly the situation changes and spirals out of control. Got to hope that something will be done to change it. Thank you, Nick Spicer in Berlin.